Namaste. Welcome to Samskriti. We are now in Sarga 3 of Kishkinda Kandam in the Adhyatma Ramayana series. When Rama, the supreme soul, killed Vali in battle, all the monkeys were extremely agitated by fear and ran towards Kishkinda and reported the death of Vali to Tara and told her to take enough measures to protect Angada and alert the ministers. Closing the gates of the city, the monkeys stood guard and urged Tara to proclaim Angada as the king of monkeys forthwith. On hearing that Vali was dead, Tara, overcome by grief and shock, started beating her chest and head repeatedly with her hands. She lamented, saying, "What has she now got to do with Angada or the kingdom, the city, or wealth? She would rather die together with her dear husband." Speaking in this manner and weeping in bitter sorrow, she went to the place where her husband's body was lying. There, seeing Vali smeared in blood and dust, she wailed woefully, fell down at his feet. While lamenting and wailing, her glance fell on Rama, and she said to him, "O Rama, kill me with the same arrow with which you killed Vali, so that I can go to the same abode and be with him. O Raghava, he must be waiting for me, as he will not be happy even in heaven without me. O Anagha, you have experienced the sorrow arising from separation from one's wife, so you should send me soon to Vali. You will thereby gain the merit of sparing a man's wife. And O Sugriva, you have been given the kingdom by Rama, the slayer of Vali. You can now enjoy it in the company of your wife Ruma without the fear of any enemy." Rama then very graciously condoled the lamenting and mourning Tara by preaching her Tattva Jnana, the knowledge of truth. He told her, "O timid lady, it befits you not to mourn over your husband's death. Who is your real husband? This body or the jiva which resides in it? Think of the true state of affairs. The body is but a combination of the 5 gross elements: air, fire, water, earth, and the sky. It is inert and consists of skin, flesh, blood, and bones. It is born out of the functioning of time, karma, and gunas, and that gross body is still lying in front of you. If you consider that your husband is the Atman, then as the spirit, he is deathless or eternal and changeless. He, as a spirit, is neither born nor dead, neither remains steady nor comes and goes. The jiva is all pervading and endless, without decay and without an end or beginning. It is neither a male nor a female or genderless, but at the same time, it is peerless, unaffected by anything, just like the sky. It is an embodiment of wisdom, truthful knowledge, and enlightenment, and is pure and uncorrupted. Then, how can it be worth of lamentation, mourning, grief, and remorse of any kind?" Tara now asked Rama, "O Rama, the body is inanimate like a piece of wood, while the jiva is deathless and of the nature of pure consciousness. Then tell me, with what or whom does one have the so-called relationships or bondage which causes sorrow and happiness?" Sri Rama replied, "So long as one feels the eye sense with regard to the body and the sense organs or indriyas, the ignorant Atma is subject to samsara, birth and death. The false superimposed bondage of samsara of one contemplating on the objects of the senses does not pass off by itself, just as the false experience of a dream does not. It is eradicated only when the sleep ends. By its connection with the beginningless avidya, the eye sense, which is itself a product of avidya, experiences samsara characterized by attraction, aversion, etc., though it is entirely meaningless. O noble lady, samsara and the bondage experienced in that state belong to the manas. The spirit, getting identified with the manas, becomes a participant of that bondage, accruing to the latter. This phenomenon can be understood from the analogy of how a clear piece of crystal placed near sealing wax appears as stained by that red color. Though the crystal looks red in appearance, it is not really stained. Similarly, owing to the proximity of buddhi and the indriyas, the experience of samsara is forced upon the Atman. The Atman identifies itself with the mind-heart complex and enjoys the pleasures of the senses, and as a result gets tied down by characteristics such as raga or attachment and desires, and dvesha, enmity, malice, envy, etc., and remains shackled to the whirlpool like world. In the beginning, the Atma creates the various characteristics such as raga and dvesha, and then by their aggregate combinations, it gets involved in doing many deeds. These deeds are of three types: Shukla, that is pure deeds; Krishna, dark or impure deeds; and some others, which is a mixture of these two, that is Lohita. Subject to these various types of karmas, the jiva is involved in samsara for the whole cosmic cycle. At the end of the cosmic cycle, when everything is dissolved into the primitive condition, the jiva, along with all its acquired tendencies and its karma potential, gets dissolved and remains sheathed in a shell of eternal ignorance, avidya. When the new universe is created, the jiva gains manifestation once again, wrapped in mind and tendencies acquired in the past. Helplessly, it is thus submerged and projected into samsara like clockwork. When, as a result of some meritorious deeds, the embodied jiva gets association with my devotees or holy men established in peace, then it gradually turns its attention towards me. This ignites interest in my divine stories, and when the jiva seriously takes to these devotional disciplines, then without much difficulty, it gradually gains an understanding of the real nature of the self. When instructed by a competent spiritual guru, the sense of the Vedic dictums dawns on the jiva. It comes to have the intuitive experience that its self, which is an embodiment of the supreme bliss, peace, and tranquility, is in fact distinct from the gross body, senses, mind, prana, and the ahankara or the I sense. Gaining this knowledge, it becomes liberated immediately. O Tara, I have told you the real and absolute truth. Those who constantly contemplate on this spiritual knowledge that I have given are not troubled or touched by any travails of samsara. You too should think deeply about these teachings of mine with a pure and concentrated mind. Then you will not be affected by the miseries and will be free from the bondage of karma. O handsome lady, in your previous birth you had practiced devotional discipline. Therefore, O auspicious one, I have given you my darshana in order to provide you deliverance from sansara. If you constantly remember my divine form and deeply ponder over my teachings, then the karmas will not bind you, even if you are engaged in activities brought about by life in this samsara. Hearing this marvelous discourse of Rama, Tara was astonished and overwhelmed. She overcame her grief born out of identification with the body and made prostrations before Rama. Rejoicing in being established in the self, she became a Jivan Mukta, one liberated in this very life. By the momentary contact with Rama, the Supreme Self, Tara became freed from all stains and from the bondages of avidya. Hearing the sweet and comforting words from the mouth of Rama himself, all the ignorance, doubts, and confusions that Sugriva might have had also faded away, and he became calm and serene. Rama then spoke to the best among monkeys, Sugriva, to make arrangements for doing all the traditional last rites as sanctioned by the scriptures for his elder brother Vali through his son Angada. Agreeing to do so, Sugriva, accompanied by other monkeys, placed the dead body of Vali on a flower-bedecked vehicle and did all the formalities befitting a royal funeral. To the accompaniment of various musical instruments such as kettle drums and trumpets, followed by Brahmins, ministers, monkey chieftains, citizens, Tara and Angada, the body of Vali was taken to the place of cremation, and all the rites were performed according to scriptural injunctions. Then Sugriva, having purified himself by bathing, returned to Rama's presence along with his ministers. Prostrating at Rama's feet, Sugriva spoke to Rama cheerfully, O Rajendra, rule over this prosperous kingdom of monkeys, and I shall be your attendant just like Lakshmana and keep serving you. Hearing this, Rama said with a sweet smile, There is no doubt, Sugriva, that you and I are one. At my order, you install yourself as the ruler of the kingdom. O friend, I will not enter any city for 14 years. So my brother Lakshmana will go with you to the city. You must anoint Angada as the heir apparent. During the rainy season, I shall stay with my brother Lakshmana on the nearby peak of this mountain. You should stay in the city for some time, after which you can begin the search for Sita. Then Sugriva prostrated before Rama and took leave from him and went back to Kishkinda along with Lakshmana and did everything as instructed by Rama. After that, having received suitable honors and respects from Sugriva, Lakshmana came back to Raghava and presented himself at his service. Then Rama and Lakshmana proceeded to the broad summit of mountain Pravarshana. There, Rama saw a bright and clean cave which gave shelter from wind, rain, and heat of the sun, where the fruits and roots were within easy reach. Resolving to stay within that cave, Rama began to dwell on that Pravarshana mountain, which had an abundance of delicious fruits and roots, fragrant flowers, lakes with water sparkling like pearls, and birds and animals of different varieties. Let's move on with the chanting now. अध्यात्मरामायणे किष्किन्धाकाण्डे तृतीयः सर्गः। निहते वालिनीरणे रामेण परमात्मना दुद्रुवुर्वानरा सर्वे किष्किन्धाम्बयविह्वलाः। तारामूचुर्महाभागे हतो वालीरणाजिरे अंगदं परिरक्षाद्य मन्त्रिणः परिनोदय। चतुर्द्वारकपाटादीन् बद्ध्वा रक्षामहे पुरीं। वानराणां तु राजानम् अंगदं कुरु भामिनी। निहतं वालिनं श्रुत्वा तारा शोकविमूर्छिता। अताडयत् स्वपाणिभ्यां शिरो वक्षश्च भूरिशः। किमङ्गदेन राज्येन नगरेण धनेन वा इदानीमेव निधनं यास्यामि पतिना सह। इत्युक्त्वा त्वरिता तत्र रुदति मुक्तमूर्धजा। ययौ तारातिशोकार्ता यत्र भर्तृकलेवरं। पतितं वालिनं दृष्ट्वा रक्तैः पांसुभिरावृतं। रुदति नाथ नाथेति पतिता तस्य पादयोः। करुणं विलपन्ती सा ददर्श रघुनन्दनं। राम मां जहि बाणेन येन वाली हतस्त्वया। गच्छामि पतिसालोक्यं पतिर्मामभिकाङ्क्षते। स्वर्गेऽपि न सुखं तस्य मां विना रघुनन्दन। पत्नीवियोगजं दुःखम् अनुभूतं त्वया नघ। वालिने मां प्रयच्छाशु पत्नीदानफलं भवेत्। सुग्रीवत्वं सुखं राज्यं दापितं वालिघातिना। रामेण रुमया सार्धं भुङ्क्ष्व सापत्नवर्जितम्। इत्येवं विलपन्तीं तां तारां रामो महामनाः। सान्त्वयामास दयया तत्त्वज्ञानोपदेशतः। किं भीरो शोचसि व्यर्थं शोकस्य विषयं पतिं। पतिस्तवायं देहो वा जीवो वा वद तत्त्वतः। पञ्चात्मको जडो देहस्त्वं मांसरुधिरास्तिमान्। कालकर्मगुणोत्पन्नः सोऽप्यास्तेऽद्यापिते पुरः। मन्यसे जीवमात्मानं जीवस्त तर्हि निरामयः न जायते न म्रियते न तिष्ठति न गच्छति न स्त्री पुमान् वा षण्ढो वा जीवः सर्वगतो व्ययः एक एवाद्वितीयोऽयमाकाशवदलेपकः नित्यो ज्ञानमयः शुद्धः स कथं शोकमर्हति तारोवाच देहोचित्काष्ठवद्राम जीवो नित्यश्चिदात्मकः सुखदुःखादिसम्बन्धः कस्य स्याद्राममे वद श्रीराम उवाच अहङ्कारादिसम्बन्धो यावद्देहेन्द्रियैः सह संसारस्तावदेव स्यात् आत्मनस्त्वविवेकिनः मिथ्यारोपितसंसारो न स्वयं विनिवर्तते विषयान् ध्यायमानस्य स्वप्ने मिथ्यागमो यथा अनाद्यविद्यासम्बन्धात् तत्कार्याहङ्कृतेस्तथा संसारो पार्थकोऽपि स्यात् रागद्वेषादिसङ्कुलः मन एव हि संसारो बन्धश्चैव मनः शुभे आत्मा मनः समानत्वमेत्यतद्गतबन्धभाक् यथा विशुद्धः स्फटिकोल्लक्तकादिसमीपगः तत्तद्वर्णयुगा भाति वस्तुतो नास्ति रञ्जनम् बुद्धीन्द्रियादिसामीप्यादात्मनः संसृतिर्बलात् आत्मा स्वलिङ्गं तु मनः परिगृह्य तदुद्भवान् कामाञ्जुषन् गुणैर्बद्धः संसारे वर्तते वशः आदौ मनोगुणान् सृष्ट्वा ततः कर्माण्यनेकधा शुक्ललोहितकृष्णानि गतयस्तत्समानतः एवं कर्मवशाज्जीवो भ्रमयत्याभूतसम्प्लवम् सर्वोपसंहृतौ जीवो वासनाभिस्वकर्मभिः अनाद्यविद्यावशगः तिष्ठत्यभिनिवेशतः सृष्टिकाले पुनः पूर्ववासनामानसैः सह जायते पुनरप्येवं घटीयन्त्रमिवावशः यदा पुण्यविशेषेण लभते सङ्गतिं सता मद्भक्तानां सुशान्तानां तदा मद्विषया मतिः मत्कथाश्रवणे श्रद्धा दुर्लभा जायते ततः ततस्वरूपविज्ञानमनायासेन जायते तदाचार्यप्रसादेन वाक्यार्थज्ञानतक्षणात् देहेन्द्रियमनः प्राणाहङ्कृतिभ्यः पृथक् स्थितम् स्वात्मानुभवतः सत्यमानन्दात्मानमद्वयम् ज्ञात्वा सद्यो भवेन्मुक्तः सत्यमेव मयोदितम् एवं मयोदितं सम्यगालोचयति योनिशम् तस्य संसारदुःखानि न स्पृशन्ति कदाचन त्वमप्येतन्मया प्रोक्तमालोचय विशुद्धधीः न स्पृश्यसे दुःखजालैः कर्मबन्धाद्विमोक्ष्यसे पूर्वजन्मनि ते सुब्रुः कृता मद्भक्तिरुत्तमा अतस्तव विमोक्षाय रूपं मे दर्शितं शुभे ध्यात्वा मद्रूपमनिशम् आलोचयमयोदितं प्रवाहपतितं कार्यं कुर्वन्त्यपि न लिप्यसे। श्रीरामेणोदितं सर्वं श्रुत्वा तारातिविस्मिता देहाभिमानजं शोकं त्यक्त्वा नत्वा रघूत्तमम्। आत्मानुभवसन्तुष्टा जीवन्मुक्ता बभूवः क्षणसङ्गममात्रेण रामेण परमात्मना। अनादिबन्धं निर्धूय मुक्ता सापि विकल्मषा सुग्रीवोऽपि च तच्छ्रुत्वा रामवक्त्रात् समीरितम् जहावज्ञानमखिलं स्वस्थचित्तो भवत्तदा। ततः सुग्रीवमाहेदं रामो वानरपुङ्गवम् भ्रातृज्येष्ठस्य पुत्रेण यदुक्तं साम्परायिकं कुरु सर्वं यथा न्यायं संस्कारादिममाज्ञया। तथेति बलिभिर्मुख्यैः वानरैः परिणीयतं वालिनं पुष्पके क्षिप्त्वा सर्वराजोपचारकैः भेरीदुन्दुभिर्निर्घोषैर्ब्राह्मणैर्मन्त्रिभिः सह यूथपैर्वानरैः पौरैस्तारया चाङ्गदेन च गत्वा चकार तत्सर्वं यथाशास्त्रं प्रयत्नतः स्नात्वा जगाम रामस्य समीपं मन्त्रिभिः सह। नत्वा रामस्य चरणौ सुग्रीवः प्राह हृष्टधीः राज्यं प्रशाधि राजेन्द्र वानराणां समृद्धिमत्। दासोऽहं ते पादपद्मं सेवे लक्ष्मणवच्चिरम् इत्युक्तो राघवः प्राह सुग्रीवं सस्मितं वचः। त्वमेवाहं न सन्देहः शीघ्रं गच्छ ममाज्ञया पुरराज्याधिपत्ये त्वं स्वात्मानम् अभिषेचय। नगरं न प्रवेक्ष्यामि चतुर्दशसमासखे आगमिष्यति मे भ्राता लक्ष्मणः पत्तनं तव। अंगदं यौवराज्ये त्वम् अभिषेचय सादरम् अहं समीपे शिखरे पर्वतस्य सहानुजः वत्स्यामि वर्षदिवसांस्ततस्त्वं यत्नवान् भव। किञ्चित् कालं पुरे स्थित्वा सीतायाः परिमार्गणे साष्टाङ्गं प्रणिपत्याह सुग्रीवो रामपादयोः यदाज्ञापयसे देव तत्तथैव करोम्यहम्। अनुज्ञातश्च रामेण सुग्रीवस्तु स लक्ष्मणः गत्वा पुरं तथा चक्रे यथा रामेण चोदितः। सुग्रीवेण यथा न्यायं पूजितो लक्ष्मणस्तदा आगत्य राघवं शीघ्रं प्रणिपत्योपतस्थिवान्। ततो रामो जगामाशु लक्ष्मणेन समन्वितः प्रवर्षणगिरेरूर्ध्वं शिखरं भूरि विस्तरं। तत्रैकं गह्वरं दृष्ट्वा स्फाटिकं दीप्तिमच्छुभं वर्षवातातपसहं फलमूलसमीपगम् वासाय रोचयामास तत्र रामः स लक्ष्मणः। दिव्यमूलफलपुष्पसंयुते मौक्तिकोपमजलौघपल्वले चित्रवर्णमृगपक्षिशोभिते पर्वते रघुकुलोत्तमो वसत् इति श्रीमद्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे किष्किन्धाकाण्डे तृतीयः सर्गः।